Hey there, welcome to That Photo Thing. My name's Tommy, and today I'm at Devil's Den Prehistoric Park in Williston, Florida, and we're talking about leading lines in compositional photography. So welcome to our very next installment of basic compositional technique, and what the leading line is essentially in a frame any element that guides the viewer's eye to the subject you're trying to convey. So for example, it can come from the bottom of the frame, from the top of the frame, from the sides, comes at an angle, any kind of thing like that could curve around to the subject, as long as the viewer's eye sees that line and follows that line around. This is a pretty self-explanatory lesson, so I'm going to try to show a lot of examples just so you can get the full understanding of the mechanics of that line and of what it's trying to convey. And also, I can't really film outside right now because unfortunately in my state there's a hurricane approaching, so there's a lot of random sporadic rain showers and wind and things like that, so I don't really have the ability to film outside, which is why we're in the room again. So we're going to start off right away with the intro video that I showed you at Devil's Den. I have two photos from that. The first photo is going to be of the leading lines, and the second one is of the Devil's Den itself, because I was more interested in taking a picture of the leading lines for this video and less about the cave itself, but we'll show what we can. So the first example, like I said, is this photo here, and it is two railings that go straight down into the Devil's Den Cavern itself. What Devil's Den is essentially a prehistoric sinkhole. It's an underground river that had the ceiling cave in a few thousand years ago, and now it's a beautiful swimming hole that goes about 70 feet deep, and the light filters in through, and now a whole bunch of jasmine vines have come down and kind of just added to the overall effect to it. These lines here are of the railings. The railings are on the direct sides of the thing, and they come straight down the photo so that you get immediately grabbed your attention by these railings, and they guide you straight to the middle of the frame, which is obviously the water and the really bright sunlight filtering through that water. Here we go when we walk down the stairs. This is a better example of that. This is the cave itself with the vines hanging down and the light filtering in. This is more of a proper exposure, but I couldn't get the lines in the frame without getting my camera wet, so this is just a good example to show you what the Devil's Den Cavern looks like on the inside. Alright, next up we have a natural example of the leading lines. This is a picture I took in Iceland of the landscape, which has big textured lava flows that are just pretty much scattered all over the terrain at this particular national park I was in. And you could see the front of the frame is probably the first thing you're going to look at, and that's where the lava flow had cracked and had built up, and that lava flow section there, your eye goes right to there and it follows the path upward to the mountain in the distance. This is a great example of a leading line from a natural texture instead of the man-made structures, which are more self-explanatory when you look at them. This is a drone shot that I took of a bridge in North Carolina. The bridge curves off to the left, so I took a few moments to line this up to not show any curve, but it essentially achieves the center line of the bottom of the bridge, starting at the front of the frame and leading out through the center of the frame, which then shows these big, huge triangle-like shapes of the bridge itself, which is actually a pretty good element of the shapes video that we talked about in the last exercise. So right after that is this nighttime shot of that same bridge, and I'm using the road with the curve of the bridge to give an example of it leading down the triangles again. As you can see now, the triangles are in the right side of the frame, so the viewer's eye will kind of be grabbed anywhere in the frame following the road down to those triangles. Same thing with With the drone one that I was talking about, where it goes from the bottom of the frame, you immediately want to go through the inside of the triangles when you look at them. These are the real purpose of a leading line. Here's another one with subtle technique of the line moving up from the bottom of the photo that I took with my drone. It's obviously just a pier on the intercoastal. However, the sailboat that's on top, it had fallen over on its side, so it kind of looks like a little cherry on top of the pier. You could see the leading line very definitively coming up the pier to the sailboat. So no matter where you look on that pier, your eye is going to gravitate to that bright sailboat on top of that dark area. All right, now it's time for us to do that photo thing. And what that photo thing is, essentially, I'm going to challenge you, the audience, to go out and do that photo thing that we just discussed. So in this case, it's the leading line, and we're going to pick a point in our frame that we're going to use as the anchor point, and then an element that'll follow from that anchor point down to the subject that you're trying to convey. You can use anything. You can use natural textures. You can use man-made structures like roads or rails, like I was showing in the examples, bridges, things like that. Also, you can use anything that has curves, as long as there's a definitive line that the viewer will want to follow to that object. If you like what you've created and you want to share with the community, please don't hesitate to upload it to Instagram with the hashtag #ThatPhotoThingChallenge. And we'll be able to discuss your photo, we'll be able to like on your photo and see what you've created. Also, if you want to see my own photography work, please follow Danger in Focus. That's 2 underscores in the name, and the name Danger is misspelled. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from this video. If you already knew this technique, please don't hesitate to go out and try this exercise again. You'll be surprised at what you can come up with. So anyway, I hope you go out and do that photo thing.